Tagliani
looking, yep.
This at about 180.
Going to be tough on the outside.
Whoa! Remember, Serbia just came out of the pits, so he doesn't have his tires. He's a little heavier on fuel because he just took on fuel, and he's really having to work this car, whereas Tagliani and Wilson have been up to speed a little while. They burned off some fuel, and they should be a little racier. So Serbia has the potential of being faster, but somehow he has to figure out how to keep these guys behind for a couple laps until he gets spooled up.
In a car he never sat in until yesterday afternoon.
Blocking would be one way to do it. Now, although they're watching for that.
He didn't know. He didn't.
No.
He held his line, and he couldn't move to the right because Tagliani was trying it on the outside. If I was Alex Tagliani, I would wait, not put myself on the outside, just try to time it a little bit differently and get himself to the inside.
Watch this and check with Michelle.
All right, hey guys, listen, Mario Dominguez, who was knocked out early, came back, went up to the transporter to change, and I was expecting him to be back here in the pit so that I could get an update from him. But the official word is that he went up to the transporter, he never returned, he had left the Long Beach Grand Prix.
Interesting. Tagliani trying to chase down Serbia. Marty, you watching this?
Oh, yeah, I'm watching it. What can you not watch about this? A terrific battle on the racetrack. And they told Serbia when he came off, even though you're on cold tires, if you need to use it, use your push to pass or your power to pass. Pull away from those guys if you can, because we'll need this track position later.
So Serbia has two teammates working together behind him, and then Team Australia working together behind them.
Well, I don't know if they're working together. I think they really want to get past each other.
Yeah, but you can see now what we predicted, and that is that Serbia can manage to hold them off.
He's been called the greatest swimmer ever. Catch Michael Phelps at the Mutual of Omaha Duel in the Pool from Sydney. 2 days of coverage next Saturday 2 Eastern, next Sunday 4 Eastern on NBC.
Well, look at notice the tail. And that's what Camp Car wanted to see on with this new car. They wanted to see if these cars could race in packs.
And that's Neil Mickelwright talking to Oriol Serbia, cheerleading. Fantastic job. You've done your job. All they wanted him to use was use the Cosworth power to pass for about 2 laps and build a gap. Because now that he burns a little fuel, gets the tires warmed up, he now should be able to stay in that position. Now, mind you, he still, unfortunately, is out of sequence for pit stops, but that was a fantastic drive for a guy who hasn't sat in the car.
Way to spoil it, Jan. Way to spoil it for him.
Well, no, but I mean, he did what they asked him to do, and he had some very, very fast guys behind him who had more laps on the tires, and he pulled it off.
Now, this is going on about 18 seconds behind the leader, but this is the race for second. Sebastian Bourdais is the race leader at the Toyota Grand Prix of Long Beach. You're watching the Champ Car World Series on NBC. NBC Sports coverage of the Toyota Grand Prix of Long Beach is brought to you by CDW, the right technology right away. And by E-Trade. It's easy, it's extraordinary, it's E-Trade. Spectacular day here in Long Beach, California. 24th running for the Champ Cars, the Grand Prix of Long Beach. Sebastian Bourdais, the race leader.
By a long ways. 17 seconds.
Let's check in with Cameron Steele.
Well, you're just talking about Sebastian Bourdais. He had a great run on the Bridgestone red sidewall tire, which is the alternate tire here. I've caught up now with Al Spire, the executive director of Bridgestone Motorsports, and you've got to be very pleased with how these alternate tires are working.
We certainly are, Cameron. That first run, I think, just a couple laps before the pit stops, 5 of the top 7 drivers turned their fastest lap, and that tells us those alternates are holding up very well, and it's a very unique compound here. It's debuting at Long Beach this weekend. We're always looking for innovations to improve the race tires, but what's important here is this technology someday is going to go into street tires that'll make better tires for all the fans.
Awesome job by Bridgestone today, and you can hear that. They're very happy with the performance.
Thanks, Cameron.
One thing we should talk about Serbia, we left and you guys were laughing. I was spoiling the party about his pit strategy. Right. He is on a different pit sequence.
Right.
However, he only has one more pit stop to make, as do the people that he's running with. So he, yes, will stop at a different time, but he is essentially now running for position. So this isn't a gimme. This is something when he was leading, and we were talking about how fast those laps he was running, he actually made up all that distance that he gave up when he made that early stop. So that's why Neil Mickelwright was cheerleading, because he has really put himself in a good spot.
Tagliani trying to chase down Serbia here. William?
Well, guys, Tagliani just got the green light to go after Serbia. I just spoke to Paul Gentilozzi again, and the wheels are turning in that pit. They're looking at fuel mileage very carefully. Moments ago, they said to Tags, go for it. Marty.
Bill just checked in with Neil Mickelwright on the Oriole Serbia car, and they indeed do have one more stop, like Jan said, between lap 59 and 64, somewhere in there. So they actually are in sequence with everyone else. They think they'll pit at the same time.
See how it all plays out. Serbia, then Tagliani, then his teammate Justin Wilson. Tagliani in that red and black machine that's on board with Wilson. CDW ride. Wilson runs in the 4th position, and right behind them, teammates Will Power and Simone Pagenaud. Then Graham Rahal runs 7th. Bruno Junqueira in the 8th spot. Daniil Johnny. And Ryan Diel, the top 10.
We went on board there with Wilson for a moment. It is so fun for these guys now to not have to take their hands off the wheel to shift, have the paddle style shift. And this weekend, the Hewlett engineers that are in charge of those gearboxes gave them some new software, so they're shifting faster. Each race weekend, they try to fine-tune it. But you'll find it interesting. No driver can have his own program. Every driver has to use the exact same gearbox software, so they don't tailor it to the drivers. They want this series. No driver to have an edge mechanically or technically. You have to get it all out of the race car by what you do behind the wheel.
Tagliani, then Wilson again. That's 3rd and 4th. Bourdais is gone. 17.5 seconds in front of 2nd place Serbia. Want more Champ Car race action? Subscribe to Race Director. Just go to www.champcar.ws and choose from 6 different camera angles. While you listen to Team Radio Communications, you can view the live telemetry all on your home computer.
Let's see how Justin
gets through there, or in there, really, really good. But then he loses a little bit off the tag coming off that corner.
He re-grips, but he doesn't do the Graham Rahal, palm in the wheel.
This is the pit stretch here. And down into turn 1. That's where Tracy's crash was in practice. Past the fountain.
Yeah, Justin Wilson looks like he's getting into the corner a little bit better, a little bit deeper than Tag, but Tag seems to be able to get the power down coming off the corners a little bit better than Justin Wilson.
Justin, of course, is one of the veterans, and those that have been in Champ Car for a while, they joke about the paddle shift, that they do say every once in a while in the heat of battle, they do find themselves actually reaching down and looking for the gear shift. It's one of those things. Now, some of the young kids,
black tires, next stop.
And that's when they're trying to tell the drivers in this particular case, you want to get psyched up. You want to let them know what type of tires you're going to have so they can start to get a read on the car and tell them how to change it, depending on if they're going the Bridgestone red or black sidewall.
Under the Bridgestone bridge. That's on board with Graham Rahal. And that's Bruno Junqueira behind him, isn't it?
Stop. Do you want front wing?
You would add front wing if the car is pushing. More front wing, the more grip you get on the front tires.
Here's Bruno. Runs in the 8th position. Running for Dale Coyne Racing. He's got Bruno and Catherine Legg. And really working hard to try and remain competitive here in a real tough series.
And Bruno's been quick, and that was the idea that Champ Car had with the 01. We talked about everybody has the same equipment, same gearbox software, and so on. They wanted to give people like the Dale Coynes of the world who don't have multi-million-dollar development budgets to have the same equipment as everybody else. And the moment that they did that, the Dale Coyne team, they've been working really hard this year on this car, and Bruno Junqueira as well as Catherine Legg at times, they've been quick.
And Catherine Legg tied her career best with a 6th at Long Beach last week. Marty?
And Bruno had a great run last week as well until they had a fueling issue at the end of the race. He still wound up finishing 7th. This weekend they have struggled with problems with the fuel because they would hit the pedal and it wouldn't have full pedal, or sometimes they would hit it and the throttle would stick. But so far, everything's been great in the race for Bruno. He's hung in there. This is one of his best racetracks too. Would love to get another podium today, but he has a long way to go. Bill?
Runs in the 8th position. Everyone is chasing Sebastian Bourdais. He's looking for his 3rd straight win at Long Beach. You're watching the Champ Car World Series on NBC. Our NBC Sports coverage of the Toyota Grand Prix Long Beach continues. Want to thank the city of Long Beach for providing today's aerial coverage. And I'll tell you, this area has it all. You've got the water, the beach, the race, the restaurants. Put it on your calendar for next year. Already had some racing here today completed. The Atlantic's on the track. Jan?
And they were not quite as fortunate in the first turn, but they also had 30 cars to try and get through there. Cars getting into the outside wall, but considering they started 30, a couple wings rolling down the racetrack, but an unfortunate moment for Simona de Silvestro. Heavy hit, but she was okay. Rafael Matos in the red and white machine just dominated. Just went to the front, was never headed. Jonathan Bomarito behind, tried to chase him down, but a dominating performance for Sierra.
It's a 50-minute race held here earlier today in Long Beach. There is your race leader. Like being the only car on the interstate.
He is just I mean, he's not having to deal with anybody right now, and his lap times are almost a second faster than the second, third place cars that's going. So Sebastian Bourdais has just got it going his way right now.
22-second lead over Serbia. Then it's Tagliani, Wilson, and Power. Pagano runs in the 6th spot.
When you have this big of a lead, unfortunately, you have time to think about what could go wrong. You think about, we had some reliability issues in the offseason. They were fast in the offseason testing, but they had as many or more mechanical problems than anyone else, and I think that made them nervous going into Las Vegas. And I've said they have a new attitude here. They're basically just relaxing, and it's going great at the moment for Sebastian.
Let's check in the pit of Dornbos.
Hey, I'm here with Paul Stoddard. You had an impressive transition last week with Dornbos, finishing on the podium, but what's going on with him today?
Yeah, he had a bit of a stall there in the pit stop, and it's cost us a bit of time, but, we've still got 35 minutes to go. Dan had an incident where he went off as well and had to be started, so not one of our better days, but hey, that's motor racing, and as I say, 35 minutes to go, anything can still happen.
Thanks, Paul, guys. Back to you.
Was that Pagano off the track?
Simone Pagano looked like he was head-on into the tires in turn 8.
Full course yellow. And there's the safety crew, Hamatro safety crew, going to the attention of the driver.
But the first thing they're doing, of course, our view is blocked somewhat, but they're pulling the car back. So if there was a problem, they would go straight to the cockpit. They're more concerned right now at giving Simone Pagano an opportunity to get back going again. Looks like very limited damage.
And one thing about this safety crew, it's basically the same guys you see every week. Under caution here in the Toyota Grand Prix of Long Beach. Sebastian Bourdais is the leader, but he's about to get back 20 seconds. This caution for rookie Simone Pagano has basically erased the 20-second lead held by Sebastian Bourdais. There's the race leader. He heads for pit road.
Solid stop here, guys. Solid stop.
This should be a routine pit stop for one of the all-time great pit crews in Champ Car history. Watch them go to work. Just like butter. 4 tires. Let's go to Marty.
Well, Bill, meanwhile, for Oriole Serbia, they said this needs to be a very clean and smooth stop, a chance to gain some time on the track. He said at the very end of the run, he was starting to lose grip a little bit, taking a little longer for the fuel. He will erase that huge lead, and I believe hold on to second spot as he leaves pit road.
Sort out the running order as they come off of pit road. Pagano getting the tow.
And the reason that they would stay in the pit as they did, they want to be completely topped up, because with the number of laps to go, it's a bit of a stretch to make it all the way to the end. And sure enough, Serbia now on the exact same sequence as everyone else is in second spot. Amazing.
Very impressive run. Again, Serbia pinch hitting for Paul Tracy, injured here yesterday. A compression fracture in his lower back after a hard crash in turn 1 during practice. That's Tracy's car with Serbia in it. Finished second in the championship standings back in 2005. Was working with Forsythe, trying to get a ride for this season. They've been talking. And then with Tracy getting injured yesterday, Serbia got in the car. Up to second right now. Started 14th. And when you go back and think he had that early pit stop, it has been an impressive run.
And what he was doing just there is he used some revs to light up the rear tires to get a little bit of heat into them. But now what he's going to be doing, what he's going to say is, I want you to save fuel and stay in a high gear.
Still under caution. Now, these aren't the only cars that were on the track. Somebody in this booth was in the Champ Car 2-seater experience this weekend. Oh, look at that. What are you doing in the backseat, Jan?
I will tell you, this was a ride. When we got done with this ride, I went to the engineer and got the data. 185 miles an hour down the straightaway. And with the carbon brakes, we did over 2.5 Gs on the braking.
That was awesome. It was great. It's the carbon brakes, as I do. Awesome.
It's quite good.
And you know what I was thinking when I climbed out of that car? First of all,
I'm afraid to ask.
Oh, well, first of all, I was glad it's in one piece. But secondary, they're selling those rides for $10,000. And Wally, you know, for a driver, I've driven here in Champ Car, a driver would never pay money to be a passenger. But when I got out of that car, I actually thought if you had an extra 10 grand burn a hole in your pocket and you had paid that kind of money, I actually think it was worth it. It was awesome.
There you go, Marty.
Wally got 10 grand I can borrow? I'll put you in the car and I'll let Jan drive. How about that?
I'm actually surprised you got in that thing, Jan. I really am.
They're famous for being funny, and we're not talking about Wally and Marty, but with no scripts, no rehearsals, and a live audience, will they fall flat or make them laugh? Thank God you're here. Monday at 9, 8 Central on NBC. That's what I say every morning when I see you in the meeting, Wally. Thank God you're here. Coming to get the green this time by. Now, Tristan Gourmande scored as the race leader here.
Well, yes, he didn't pit. So, gets an opportunity. They've changed the points this year to where you don't get a point for leading a lap. So, it's just a case where he's going to stay out. And I imagine that Sebastian was wishing that maybe he had, in fact, made a pit stop.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Serbia's slow off the corner. Serbia's slow to get up to speed.
It's the third car in line there, with Tagliani right behind him in the red machine.
Oh, here we go. Yep, Tag took a look.
That's Tag in the red and black machine.
I think Serbia really needs to get up behind Bourdais. He's got an opportunity here because he's behind a slower car right now. So we'll see if because you really have to put the pressure, I think, on Sebastian. Yes, to make a mistake. Marty.
Hey, Wally, no word on what happened on the restart there with Oriol Serbia, but they did tell him about the fuel, that he is good to go to the end. They want him to save a little bit initially, but he will get the green light midway through this run to attack Sebastian Bourdais best he can.
Boy, I don't know if you can wait that long. If you wait that long, he's going to have a 10 or 15 second lead on you.
Yeah, if you're going to attack... Now, mind you, this is an engineering exercise. He would like to attack them, but if you don't have the fuel, you can't.
Bill Stevens.
Oh, what a day this could be for Oriol Serbia. And I want to remind you guys, this is the second time in his career that he's pinch hit. Had a back injury, remember, a couple of years ago. He got in there for Bruno Junqueira, who was injured at the Indy 500 and drove for Newman Haas. And now for the second time in his career, he's coming off the bench, and what a job he's doing today.
Bourdais' lead was over 20 seconds, is now half a second.
Interestingly, when the Newman Haas Lanigan team heard that Oriol was getting in this car, that's Neil Mickelride again talking to Oriol. The Newman Haas Lanigan team predicted that Oriol would finish, or actually they predicted he would qualify in the top 8. They missed that. Now, funny enough, Oriol Serbia is the one they're probably most worried about.
Gourmande the race leader. Cameron, you working on this?
I definitely am, and I've caught up with Jimmy Vasser, who's a gambling man. Jimmy, what's the game plan here with leaving Tristan out?
Well, we need 5 more laps of yellow, we think, with the mileage he's making to make it to the end. So we're taking a chance. We're kind of really weren't going anywhere where we were, and Tristan's a rookie. Give him a little chance to lead this thing, get a little experience, to get that pay-by-touch car up there.
All right, Jimmy Vasser, you saw get his final race here last year at Long Beach. He hasn't officially retired from racing, but we haven't seen him in a champ car in a year now.
Doing a good job. He's holding off a pretty fast guy here for the first couple laps anyway.
26 years old.
They're both French. So
was 5th at Las Vegas.
The first time he got in this car was at Mazda Raceway in Laguna Seca, and he physically, it was so high speed and high G-force, couldn't hang on to the wheel. He just came in and said, I physically don't have it. And he's a big, strong guy. It's not like he's a little guy. He fully underestimated the kind of effort that it takes to drive one of these things with this kind of downforce.
You drove an Indy kart Laguna, right?
Yeah.
Coming down off the corkscrew, all through that section, it feels like the steering is broke on one of these cars. That's how hard it is to turn them.
Bourdais runs second. We check with Bill.
Guys, we've been talking about fuel strategy all day long, and you have to admit that Sebastian Bourdais' team has really hit the nail right on the head. But Jan and Wally, you could perhaps talk about the fact that when you've got a commanding lead in a race, you're not going through the debating that the other teams have been going through today who are trying to catch him.
Yes, except for he doesn't have a commanding lead anymore. He just has he probably could have a commanding lead if he wanted to. At the moment, he's happy just to... Okay, that's his new mileage target. So he's actually using Tristan to get a bit of a draft, and that's also another way to save some fuel. So he's not in a huge hurry to get by him. Why not just stay behind and save a little fuel?
He's letting him know he's there, though, isn't he?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he's going to probably take him the next lap or two. But you're right, Jan. He doesn't have Serbia giving him any pressure right now. So he's just, running his own race and conserving a little bit of fuel.
But what, for a guy like Tristan Gamondi, he's doing a great job. Like Vasser said, we weren't going anywhere. We weren't doing anything. We weren't all that fast. But, he's got his bit between the teeth. And it's a great opportunity for him to see what his countryman, Sebastian Bourdais, who obviously is the class of the field, what it's like out there.
Bourdais runs second. Serbia is third. And it's Tagliani, Power, and Justin Wilson, the top 6. Junqueira runs in the 7th spot. You can see the time counting down in the upper left-hand corner. The leaderboard. Less than 23.5 minutes to go here in the Toyota Grand Prix of Long Beach.
Now, you know what? At some stage, Sebastian will get a little grumpy. He's been all right for a while, but he's going to start to get a little... at the moment, he's fine. But as soon as you see Oriol... Oriol is close. No, that's not pressure. But if Oriol gets just a little bit closer, then it'll change the whole dynamic.
It doesn't take long to run out of patience. Especially when you're following somebody. But you're right. As soon as that car gets a little bit bigger in his mirror, he's going to go by.
Now, remember, Tristan is leading. So it's not like this is a blue flag situation. He actually physically has the lead of the race. He doesn't have to give Sebastian any room at all.
But it might be a good idea.
But Sebastian is running about a second slower right now than he has been for most of the race. So I don't think he's pushing the button.
That's Tagliani in the red machine, the red and black machine, followed by Will Power in the green and gold. Power won last week at Vegas, his first champ car victory. They are trying to keep Bourdais in sight.
And we have seen a lot of examples today that we talked about a little bit in Las Vegas about how this new car, the cars can run close together. And that was the idea of this aerodynamic package, which is, by the way, why the car is harder to steer. It has 5,000 pounds of downforce at 200 miles per hour. That's why the steering effort is so heavy. The cars are not mechanically heavy, they're aerodynamically heavy, but because they have so much downforce underneath the car, now with the smaller wings, they can run closer together.
See how it all plays out here on the streets of Long Beach. We'll be back in a moment with more from the Champ Car World Series after these messages and a word from our local NBC stations. Marty Snyder Fan Club getting together down there before the race. Welcoming you back to Long Beach. We want to thank the city of Long Beach for providing today's aerial coverage. It has just been a spectacular week here. The local residents have been so friendly and helpful. The restaurants have been great, and it's just a spectacular venue for the Champ Car World Series. Second race of the year, and we're proud to be here on NBC. How about this, Jan, huh? Bourdais still behind him.
Tristan Gamondi has actually pulled out a bit of a gap. And I would say that Oriol Servia isn't quite applying pressure yet, but he is definitely in the zip code.
Cameron?
I was just talking to Jimmy Vasser once again about the fuel economy and how far he can go. They're projecting an 81-lap race if it stays green all the way. Well, under current conditions, now remember, they could be telling a story here. They're saying they will have to come in around lap 70. Remember, you can't always trust the person on the timing tower for these teams.
You've got to be kidding.
Well, I think in this case you can trust them because it's not giving anything away because nobody else has to stop. So who cares when he stops?
Bill Stevens.
Down here with Craig Hampson for Sebastian Bourdais. The fuel strategy seemed to have really hung together. What about tires, Craig?
Well, running in traffic like we're doing behind the PKV car really isn't ideal. They're kind of getting some front running time, but they're going to end up like 12th or 13th place. So right now all they're doing is using up our tires because of the dirty air. I think we got a race on our hands with Oriol. I got a lot of respect for Oriol. And basically, I want to make sure we have the best tires possible for the 15-lap shootout that's going to happen once Galmody pits.
Shootouts, gotta love it.
Remember how I said that his attitude reflected Sebastian's? I got a sense of grumpiness. What do you think? Yeah, I think they're starting to get a little frustrated, you know. He's leading and he's, you know, he's affecting our air and he's affecting our strategy, but you know what? He's leading and he has the right to do that. And you know the reason that Oriol Servia is in second place? He pitted early, was on a different strategy early, and ran by himself in the front, and that's how he gained all the time. So good for Tristan and for Jimmy Vasser.
And Marty Snyder.
And me too, guys. There's no grumpiness down here in the Oriol Servia pits. I tell you what, fantastic job so far. Do you have enough tires, though, to catch the guys in front of you?
Well, you know, I mean, I think that the tyres that we have are just as good as anybody in front of us. Obviously, Bourdais has had quite the pace today. Gomendi currently leaving is going to have to be stopping here fairly soon for gas. So we'll see when he stops, and there's nothing holding us up. We'll do the best we can.
How proud are you of Oriol right now?
I'm very proud of Oriol, and you know, very proud of the whole team for recovering. Obviously, you know, devastated by PT having his accident and not being with us. Hope he gets well soon.
All right, currently in third, trying to get back up to the front, maybe past Bourdais.
Thanks, Marty. Let's check in one more time on today's CDW Virtual Pit Stop, where you, the viewer, try to make the right call. Today's question, who will earn Rookie of the Year honors? And Graham Rahal, the popular pick today. Rahal currently runs in the 9th position.
And I don't think we've seen everything out of Neil Johnny. He is a very talented driver. I know they didn't hit the setup, and he's had trouble here this weekend, but that's going to be a closer race than necessarily I think those stats show. I think it's going to be a great battle this year for the rookies.
I think you're right. I think it's going to be a lot of fun to watch. Be interesting to see how many of them can get to victory lane, too. That's Bourdais in the McDonald's machine. He runs second. Started from the pole, has been the class of the field, but pit strategy has Tristan Gamondi out front.
See if he pops in here. Yep. Sure enough.
And now the race is on. Coming down to the 15-minute mark. Cameron Steele.
Well, you know they're gambling on the fuel, hoping for yellows. Now they're only going to take 4 seconds of fuel. Essentially, in this flash note, you can see no tires going on the car. Looks a lot longer than 4 seconds, but he's away.
Yeah, that was longer than 4 seconds, but that's how long it took to get as much fuel as they needed.
So Sebastian Bourdais goes back to the lead with Servia 1.5 seconds behind him. The Champ Car family is very close, and we all suffer our losses together. Last weekend, we lost one of our family when Captain Jonathan Graspall was killed while on patrol in Iraq. He was not only a big Champ Car fan, but also the brother of Dr. Jason Graspall, himself an Army captain and a member of the Champ Car medical team. One of the things he loved doing, coming to the races, and there he is at the 2006 Cleveland Grand Prix. We salute him and all of our soldiers. NBC Sports coverage of the Champ Car World Series Grand Prix of Long Beach. This is Paul Tracy at practice on Saturday. Compressed fracture in his lower back. Sees a doctor next week. Could be out 3 months. Oriol Servia in the car when the green flag waves. Oriol Servia worked his way to the front, has led 7 laps today. Rookie Simone Pagenaud bringing out the early caution. Then Tristan Gamunde used pit strategy to get out front of Sebastian Bourdais, but when he dove onto pit road, Bourdais, who has been the class of the field, inherited the lead. And he is just having a spectacular day in Long Beach.
Yeah, it just seems like when Bourdais decides he wants to go, he just goes. He just turns the wick up. That last lap was in the 108s, first one I've seen all day, so that car must be working to his liking.
And yes, they were getting, when things are going this well and then you have to follow someone for a while. I mean, we're joking about the whole grumpiness thing, but you know what? That's why Sebastian is good. He's a perfectionist, and is Craig Hampson. As an engineer and as a driver, nothing is good enough. If the track's not clear and you don't have this kind of lead, there's more to be found. And, turn 9 again. Oh, it looks like Figgy. Ooh.
Hard impact.
That's a big hit. Now, he's opened his visor. Again, we talked about that before. You do that as a signal to the safety team that you're okay.
The 29 car of Alex Figgy.
That's a big crunch.
And we have gone to a full course yellow. Full course yellow coming out. NBC Monday in 1 week. Heroes returns. They saved the cheerleader. Now it's time to save the world. Heroes returns with all new episodes. NBC Monday at 9, 8 Central in 1 week. So a full course yellow late in the Toyota Grand Prix of Long Beach. And Servia is going to be right on the rear wing of Bourdais when we come back. NBC Sports coverage of the Toyota Grand Prix of Long Beach is brought to you by Bridgestone. For drivers who want to get the most out of their cars, it's Bridgestone or nothing. And by Toyota, moving forward. Under caution after a hard crash by Alex Figgy. Full course caution here in the Toyota Grand Prix of Long Beach. There you see the safety crew going to work and looking for Figgy's car.
Wow. Exactly the opposite of what we saw from Mario Dominguez, who backed it into the very same location. But he got in, had one of the front brakes locked up, and it won't turn. Now, we did see him raise the visor, but the Homatro safety team now is doing a full extrication. If he's complained of any pain in his back or legs or anything, obviously he was conscious because he lifted the visor. They're going to go through the full backboard, get him out of the car just in case.
Yeah, and I mean, these guys, the safety team here on the Champ Car Series is the best in the business, and these guys do a great job, and they they want to prevent any further injuries on getting him out of the car, so they want to make sure that if there is something broke, they don't want it to make it worse by not taking the right precautions.
On the go, you can follow all the exciting Champ Car action with Champ Car Mobile. Go to www.champcar.ws to download a live leaderboard, wallpapers, and ringtones to your mobile phone. Standard data rates will apply. So in this series, you see the same safety crews, the same doctors week after week because they travel with the series.
Yes, that's one of the most comforting things when you are in that type of accident. The very first people that you see are all people that you've known, because it's not just Champ Car. Alex Figgy came up through the Atlantic Series, right. So this has been not just this year. He knows all these people, has traveled with them, and obviously they're the best in the business, but also for the driver, you just know right away you're in good hands.
And they not only bring the people, they basically bring the emergency room too with their own truck. Let's check with Marty Snyder.
Well, guys, we're going to talk to Neil Mickelwright. This caution certainly helps you out, doesn't it?
It does. It doesn't hurt us. Obviously, we were looking good on fuel. Honestly, I'm not sure that we've got anything for Bourdais. I mean, he's pretty much in a class on his own today. He's going very well. We're a little bit concerned about Tagliani right behind us, but right now there's about 6 or so minutes left to go in the race. Hopefully they'll get the accident cleaned up and we can have a couple of laps to fight it out at the end.
And if nothing else, you guys are having fun on the radio, joking back and forth like you guys have been together for years.
Well, we try to keep it light.
All right. Having some fun on the radio. Orioles having a lot of fun in the race car, Bill.
That's right, Marty. And you know what? You heard them say it all day long from the other teams, how much Sebastian Bourdais has had for everybody. They've had pretty much a textbook race. No adjustments on that race car. The race setup they began the race with is the one they'll end the race with. In fact, the biggest problem today was when they had the problem with the air compressor down here. That's a pretty good day at the races.
Now, I think on this restart, I mean, I know what Paul Tracy would do under this situation. And I mean,
left in the race, just under 5 now.
he's telling us 5 minutes left in the race. But you've got, if you're going to win this thing, you've got to force the issue with Bourdais.
Yes, the tricky part is getting off, and what Neil Mickelwright is saying, getting off the final hairpin, you can only be so close. And the way that Sebastian's car is hooked up, he rockets off of that final hairpin, and I don't care how good of a driver you are, if you don't have the same level of traction, the same kind of hookup, even with
tire pressures, get him up higher.
And what they do is they can monitor the tire pressures. They were talking to Oriol Servia. They want him to make a good restart. And the reason he's weaving back and forth so violently, you want to keep the tire pressures up. They can read that real time on their telemetry on the laptops, so he has the best shot possible coming off of that hairpin.
Yeah, because if he spins the tires just a little bit, that's it.
It's over.
He just blew it. So you're right. He's got to get a great restart and put himself in a position where he can try to outbrake or at least worry Bourdais going into turn 1.
Get 1 to go this time by Marty.
Well, as you guys can imagine, Neil Mickelwright telling him not only to keep the heat in the tires, but also to keep the tires clean. That's why he's also going back and forth, not only to keep those pressures up. Neil was not happy with the last restart. He told Oriol, be aggressive on this one. Just make sure you get a good one. Stay with that one car.
Get the tires up. We are going to, you've got all sorts of fuels. Make sure you...
That's Alex Figge being loaded into the emergency vehicle, waving, giving a thumbs up to the crowd. Now, quickly on the Cosworth power to pass here. Not a lot left for a lot of these guys, especially Servia and Tagliani, correct?
Servia has 12 seconds. Tagliani only has 4. And look at that, Sebastian Bourdais has 47. So Sebastian hasn't had to use it today. I guarantee he'll use it coming off of the hairpin as a defensive measure, so no one's going to be having more power than Sebastian. But I think the real battle, and I think Neil Mickelwright kind of hinted towards that, is the Tagliani versus Servia.
So Bourdais will use it when we go back to green right away?
They'll all use it.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody that's got anything left is going to use it right now.
All right, here with Dale Coyne. Dale, you've got 2 cars in the top 10 and an impressive finish last weekend. How happy are you about how this team has come together?
We got 2 to go, and let's see if we can get the 7th place car to be a bowling pin, a bowling ball, and take out the top 5. We get them both on a podium, so we'll see what happens.
All right, thanks a lot.
He's having fun, man.
Yeah.
That's a great thing about Dale Coyne. I mean, he's here. He's a racer, but he's having a lot of fun.
Coming to the green this time.
Now, there have been occasional bowling balls in turn 1, so you never know.
We had one at the top of the shadow.
Yeah.
Marty Snyder.
Look at Servia. He's all over Sebastian this time.
Under 2 minutes to go in the Toyota Grand Prix of Long Beach. Sebastian Bourdais has been the class of the field. Oriol Servia.
He's trying.
Nah, it ain't gonna happen.
The way that Sebastian can get off that final corner is phenomenal.
And Tagliani, he was all over Servia.
Headed for the first turn. 90 seconds to go in the race.
In the red and white CDW machine, he was almost thinking about making a move on power.
On board with Justin Wilson. Looking forward at Will Power.
And Justin's a guy, he will force the issue. If he thinks he has any daylight, he'll put it in there.
And this is it.
Oh, he's got a good run. Yeah. He's got a good run right here. Stay with Wilson. Here he comes.
Oh, not enough.
Oh.
Tagliani right in front of Will Power, then Justin Wilson. Marty. Check with Marty in a moment.
I'm ready, Bill.
Go ahead.
Apologize. Will Power's had a terrific day. Big shout out to those guys, and they've stayed in the top 5 all day long. Will talked to me about championship. Not so much trying to win this race, but focusing on the championship this year. He set himself in a good position.
Ooh, wow, I mean, these guys are just all over each other in that last corner. This is going to be it. We're going to have to get it done.
Last lap.
Yeah, there's a lot of zeros on the Cosworth power to pass right list now.
Well, here it comes. Here comes Power.
Oh, nice move. Very strong.
Off the win at Vegas to third, trying to get a podium finish.
He's thinking about more. He's not just thinking about championship. That was an aggressive move. Of course, that helped your championship. Fantastic after such a dominating performance in Vegas.
So Power to third, looking ahead at Sylvia.
Here comes Wilson, taking a look.
Justin Wilson.
He's there.
Got him.
Justin Wilson in the red and white machine. Tagliani in the red and black car. And it's Bruno Junqueira right behind them. 3 red and white cars and the black car in the middle.
And Junqueira has a little power to pass left. The guys in front of him have none. So Bruno Junqueira may have a shot here.
There's your race leader, Sebastian Bourdais, trying to go for the three-peat here in Long Beach. Started from the pole, has had an outstanding run. Disappointment a week ago, but not today. Sebastian Bourdais wins at Long Beach.
Well done, Tim. Great drive. Well done, Car 1 team.
And what a run for Serbia. There's your race winner, Sebastian Bourdais.
All night.
Donut served.
Well, you know they were disappointed last Sunday and came here probably to deliver a message. We're going to chase down, we're going to do our best to chase down another championship. So Sebastian Bourdais will head for victory lane. We'll be back in a moment to wrap up our coverage from the Toyota Grand Prix of Long Beach. But first, let's go to New York and Bill Clement with an ADT NBC Sports Update. Sebastian Bourdais has won the Toyota Grand Prix of Long Beach, his first win of the 2007 season, his third win in a row here at Long Beach, and his 24th career Champ Car victory. Here's Marty Snyder.
Well, and Bill, there's the celebration. This team certainly deserves it after the week they had last week at Las Vegas, a struggling week. Sebastian told me it was one of the worst weeks of his entire career. What a comeback, and all the hours this race team put in this week, getting this car ready to come here and try and win their third straight Long Beach race. What a comeback for you guys. How gratifying is that after the rough week you had last week at Las Vegas?
I guess everything that could happen to us in Vegas happened, and here the McDonald's car really showed what it could do, and I can't thank these guys enough because really they worked their tails off. They worked probably until midnight last night and woke up at 4 to get ready, and it's just unbelievable the hours that they put, so it's all to their benefits, really.
Tell me about the hairpin on the last restart, and is that one of the most dominant performances of your career?
I think we definitely put on a great show today, but it's true the last restart was a little, you get a lot of pickup, and once you get to that hairpin before the last restart, it's very slippery, so I really made sure I was going to slow down very much at the apex and get a good jump, and it worked out pretty good.
You took the week to drive here kind of to clear your mind. Your guys, however, worked very hard. I know you're proud of them and the effort they put in this weekend.
Yeah, it's like I said, it's all theirs. They worked so hard, and all winter it's been like that, and that panos is not easy to put together, but they've done it.
3 straight Long Beach wins for Sebastian Bourdais.
Car was fast.
Bill?
Down here with Will Power. Well, a win and a podium. Good way to start the season.
Yeah, it was a good way. I mean, on a restart there, something happened to the gears. I couldn't get first, so Alex went past, and then I think Justin got me when we were out in cold tires. So it was a race where we just kept following people. We had the pace. I mean, if we hadn't lost that, I think we would have been able to give Sebastian a bit of a run for his money. But, good on him. It's a good fight for the championship.
Take us back to the beginning of the race, the first lap, the first turn. What's going through your head?
Sebastian went early, which is really good, and he spread the field out to prevent any sort of incident in the first corner. And I wasn't up to sort of screw him over in the first corner. We just went in and just started the race. It was really event-free.
And that's the way we like it. Nice job today, Will.
Thank you.
Let's go to Cameron Steele.
Well, Bill Stevens, the man that really showed that he was ready to go. Unfortunately, Paul Tracy not able to race here today, but Oriol Servia coming with the goods. You've got to be very happy with that day.
Well, yeah, how many times I have to show that I'm ready to go? No, I did a great job, but nothing compared to what the team did. You know, I had to adjust to the car, but at the end of the day, I'm a race car driver. The team had to adjust to me. They gave me a fabulous car, great pit stops, and to be honest, I had pretty big shoes to fill today. I mean, I know PT would have tried in the last restart to go for the win. I tried, but I couldn't do it. I'm just really, really happy to finish second, and I thank very much the team and Mr. Forsyth for trusting that I was going to do the job.
Definitely doing the job today. Oriol Servia, second place.
Thanks, Cameron. That is an impressive run. You were right, Wally. He knew what Paul would have tried to do there on that final restart.
He did a really good job. I mean, you know, you put a good driver in a good race car. He really did a nice job today.
So here are your unofficial results from the Toyota Grand Prix of Long Beach. Sebastian Bourdais gets his first win of 2007. Serbia driving for Tracy. Will Power, the winner at Vegas. Tagliani lost a couple of positions there. Bruno Junqueira with a good run. And the rookie, Johnny, coming home in the 7th position. There's Graham Rahal in 8th. And on back to Mario Dominguez, who brought out the first caution of the race, impacting the tire barrier.
And Simone Pagenaud there in 14th actually did the fastest race lap of anyone, so he will score an extra championship point.
And we can take a look at the Roche Franz rookie standings after 2 events in 2007. Durham Boss, the leader there. But I think that's going to be a fun race to watch all season long.
We didn't get to vote on Durham Boss, though. Maybe next week.
Yep, you're right. Good point. So Sebastian Bourdais, the winner here. Let's check in with Michelle.
I'm here with Justin Wilson, who finished 4th, a much better finish than last week. What made the difference for you?
Just things started to go right this weekend. You know, we've had a pretty difficult weekend in Vegas and ended up with a gearbox problem in the race, so it put us out, but we're struggling anyway. So this weekend, things started off steady, but we've slowly improved it each day, getting better, and you know, everyone has worked really hard on this car and done a fantastic job. So I'm just very pleased to get a 4th place out of it, start the season off, and get up there for CDW, because they've been great supporters, and you know, I just want to do well and finish on the podium next time.
Good run today. All right, guys, back to you.
Thanks, Michelle. Jan, it's going to be a fun season. Enjoy it, okay?
It is. It's going to be great. Thanks for being here, Bill. It's been fun.
All right. And I'll see you somewhere down the road, Mr.
Yeah,
D.
pretty soon, I'm sure.
I'm sure I will. A reminder that the Champ Car World Series continues with round 3 next Sunday. That's April 22nd from Houston, Texas, with the Grand Prix of Houston. Coming up next on the West Coast only, it's the National Heads Up Poker Championships. And for everyone else, coming up next, it's your local news. And starting at 7, 6 Central, don't miss an all-new Dateline NBC, followed by Deal or No Deal and The Apprentice on NBC. So for Wally, Jan, Marty, Cameron, Bill, Michelle, our entire NBC race family, I'm Bill Weber. Thanks for taking a ride with us at the Toyota Grand Prix of Long Beach, where Sebastian Bourdais continues his pursuit of another series championship with his 3rd straight win on the streets of Long Beach. The series heads to Houston next week, and they'll all be chasing Sebastian Bourdais. Thanks for having us in for the race. You've been watching the Champ Car World Series on NBC.